Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever just paused right in the middle of a totally chaotic moment in your life and wondered, are you actually living out your destiny right now? Or are you just getting caught up in this endless, exhausting chase? Are your passions truly guiding you? Or are they completely blinding you? Well, today we're looking at a deeply fascinating, highly specific concept from Vedic astrology. It's called Rahu in the fifth house, but it's much more widely known as the architect of obsession.
Attraction feels like destiny, until reality arrives. I mean, wow, it has such a dramatic, almost mysterious tone to it, doesn't it? But honestly, it perfectly captures the core topic of our explainer today. It completely encapsulates the intense, sometimes totally blinding energy of the planetary node known as Rahu when it sits right in the fifth house of an astrological chart. We're talking about an energy so potent that it can make a passing infatuation feel like some epic romance written in the stars, you know? At least until the illusion eventually shatters. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Architect of Obsession, Amplifying Desire.
To really understand what this mystical astrological placement actually does to your everyday life, it really helps to think of Rahu as a massive cosmic magnifying glass. When you place that magnifying glass directly over the fifth house, it catches the sunlight and basically turns normal, everyday interests into these hot, all-consuming pursuits. It actively amplifies your desires, it fuels this incredibly deep fascination, and it drives a relentless need for experimentation and highly unconventional experiences. Essentially, it takes the volume dial of your life's passions and just cranks it way past 10. It makes absolutely everything feel so urgent and so extraordinary.
But here's the catch. It doesn't amplify absolutely everything everywhere. This intense magnifying energy is actually laser-focused on 5 specific domains of life: romance, creativity, children, speculation, and intelligence. These 5 areas are the traditional domains of the fifth house. So if you, or maybe someone you know, has this placement, these 5 arenas are exactly where that massive magnifying glass is burning the brightest. This is exactly where all the drama, the obsession, and, frankly, the magic happen.
Let's look closer at that first area. Section 2. Romance, Illusion, and Pursuit.
When that intense magnifying glass hits your love life, man, things can get incredibly chaotic. For folks with this placement, love often feels less like a quiet, safe harbor and way more like a wild, totally unpredictable roller coaster ride that you just can't bring yourself to get off of. You might feel this magnetic, almost unavoidable pull toward partners who really stand out from the crowd. We're talking highly unconventional love stories, taboo relationships, and forbidden attractions. Especially in your younger years, you might experience these obsessive romantic tendencies where crushes just become completely all-consuming. But the truly tricky part here is the profound ongoing difficulty in distinguishing genuine, lasting love from just fleeting excitement.
And that dynamic forms a vicious, predictable cycle. Step 1 is the all-consuming crush. It just hits you like a ton of bricks out of absolutely nowhere. Then step 2 is the thrill of the chase, where your amplified desire kicks into absolute overdrive to win this specific person over. But then, inevitably, comes step 3, the sudden arrival of reality. Once the chase is successfully over, that intense Rahu energy drops right off a cliff, and you're left just sitting there wondering if you actually even like the person, or if you were just completely addicted to the pursuit itself.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it exposes the absolute core illusion of this entire astrological dynamic. The chase literally becomes more exciting than the prize. For the architect of obsession, the pursuit entirely overshadows the actual relationship. All the dopamine, all the intense focus is completely tied up in the getting. And once you finally catch the prize, the fascination just starts to evaporate into thin air.
And this sets up the ultimate battle in relationships: connection versus stimulation. Connection is genuine, grounded emotional bonding. It requires tons of patience, and quite frankly, it can sometimes be a little boring. Stimulation, on the other hand, that's the rush, the adrenaline, the absolute blinding fascination of the new. This placement intensely craves stimulation and constantly tricks you into thinking that rush is a genuine connection. Recognizing the stark difference between these two feelings is literally the ultimate challenge here.
Moving right along to Section 3, Creative Genius and Risk, Refusing Traditional Rules.
Now, when this energy shifts away from the heart and into matters of the mind, it frequently produces true creative genius, fueled by highly innovative, out-of-the-box thinking. There's just a limitless intellectual curiosity at play here. These individuals are constantly seeking new knowledge, dissecting the latest trends, and mastering brand new technologies. Naturally, this leads to a massive attraction to highly visible, public-facing fields. Think media, cinema, gaming, and content creation. And why is that? Because right beneath that creativity, there's a deep, relentless need for public recognition.
Creativity refuses to follow traditional rules. That rebellious, totally disruptive energy is the absolute hallmark of Rahu. It aggressively pushes you to break the mold and shatter everyone's expectations. But it also fuels a burning, undeniable need to be noticed for your uniqueness and your raw intelligence. You don't just want to create things in a vacuum. You want the entire world to stop what they're doing and recognize exactly how differently your mind works.
And here's the thing. This boundary-pushing, thrill-seeking energy definitely doesn't stop at art. It spills directly over into finances and speculation. Things like cryptocurrency, highly volatile stocks, betting, and high-risk investments suddenly become incredibly alluring. Because this placement naturally amplifies desire and fascination, the innate interest in speculative risk-taking is drastically stronger here than average. Through the distorted lens of this energy, almost every major risk looks like an absolute golden opportunity just waiting to be seized.
And this brilliantly illustrates a seriously dangerous tightrope, investing wisely versus gambling emotionally. You have to ask yourself, are you making calculated financial and creative decisions based on solid data and actual reality? Or are you making purely emotional, adrenaline-fueled bets simply because you're desperately chasing that next big thrill? Just like in the realm of romance, the line between reality and illusion in your financial life can get dangerously blurry.
Which brings us to Section 4, Children and Karmic Lessons, the Classroom for Karma.
Beyond romance and financial risk, traditional astrology connects this energy deeply to your offspring and life's most profound karmic lessons. For those navigating life with this placement, you will very often find complicated matters involving children. Now, it's really important to understand that complicated doesn't necessarily mean negative. It usually just means highly unconventional. Your children might be exceptionally talented, fiercely independent, or just highly unusual in their overall approach to the world. Ultimately, children often serve as a major, basically inescapable karmic focus for anyone with this amplifying energy in their chart.
Romance becomes a classroom for karma. Essentially, all of these intense areas we've covered today, your lovers, your groundbreaking artistic pursuits, your speculative risks, and your children, they aren't just random parts of your life. Under this placement, they are your literal classrooms. Many of life's most profound, life-changing experiences, and certainly its hardest lessons, are going to arrive directly through these avenues.
So the crucial point is right here in Section 5, the ultimate reality check, piercing the illusion.
To actually pierce this illusion, you have to actively interrogate your true feelings. When you look at your romantic relationships, past or present, are you genuinely in love, or are you just caught up in deep fascination? Remember, attraction feels exactly like destiny, right up until reality actually arrives to test it.
You also need to ask yourself honestly, are you seeking true connection or just stimulation? Are you actively looking for a real partner to build a stable life with, or are you secretly just addicted to the exciting, breathless rush of the chase? You've got to be brutally honest with yourself about what you are actually pursuing.
And it's the exact same for your creative life and your professional ambitions. Are you expressing raw talent, or are you just desperately chasing attention? When you break traditional rules and engage in these highly unconventional creative pursuits, you must challenge your underlying motives. Are you doing it purely for the art and the innovation, or just to feed a burning desire for public recognition?
Then take a hard, totally unfiltered look at your speculative risk-taking behavior. Are you investing wisely, or are you gambling emotionally? You absolutely have to identify the stark reality behind your financial and life choices before that amplified desire leads you right off a cliff.
And finally, the most important question of all. Are your desires teaching you something deeper? Because all of it, the obsession, the chaos, the thrills, the unconventional choices, they all serve a larger purpose. They are here to force you to learn, to grow, and to eventually see past the cosmic illusion. So take a step back, look at the intense passions driving your life, and ask yourself, what true karmic purpose lies behind your wildest obsessions? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.